Are you going to buy something such as Plex? Always enter code Aceface into the Creator Code tab here. This makes it so that 5% of the earnings go to me and doesn't cost you anything extra. I would appreciate it a lot. Hello everybody, my name is Aceface. I hope you guys are all doing well, because I'm doing well in this Kestrel right here as a completely new fresh character. So I made a character using the basic skill point link you can get like in many people's YouTube videos, and I got the 1 million skill points, and I'm trying to find out good T0 fits. I've been making a lot of videos on T0 fits from time to time, and the reason why I was very enthusiastic on making T0 fits right now is because I've come up with a very good progression line from T4 to T6 Abyss with Gilas that go very smoothly and very easily. The thing that I want to do is have a bridge between T0 and T2, because I got a very good T2 fit as well with a Hawk, and I wanted to make a T0 fit so they can like bridge from the very beginning, because I've always been recommending using Punishers as a T0 starter because it's really good for how much you have to pay. It's a very good stats you get, but I think you can do the same thing in a Kestrel, and I've been having a lot of success running this Kestrel fit right here. So actually last year, in fact, I even did a test on the Kestrel fit, and it was similar to this one, but I made some slight changes because Ibeast, a fellow YouTuber, he comes up with really good fits all the time. I saw in the recommended fits, he's got this highest T0 Kestrel, got lots of different recommended fits right here, and I saw that he was using a web. And I usually like to use the Kestrel and the T0 Darks if I'm going to just start out, because the reason why I like the Darks as a T0 weather type is, look here, going Tranquil, Dark, and it only costs 22k. If we were to do electricals, it's 100k for each filament, so a lot more upfront cost. And the same thing goes for exotics, more costly. Firestorm's not as costly. The Gamma's actually the cheapest, so could be an idea to go for Gammas as well. But in this case, I decided to go for the Darks because they're really good. They make it so that they're cheap, and then you go very fast. I'm moving very fast, and also makes the enemy's optimal range a lot slower, so they have less ability to attack as well. So then I've been using the T0 Kestrel. That's what I've been trying to use for it. So you can see here, I just want to show you guys what I was using previously. This is the previous fit I was using. And the reason why I focus so much on the EM is, one, because I got EM shield amplifier here, is because the Kestrel has naturally low EM resist. But also because one of the deadlier waves in the Abyss is the Skybreaker Disparu Troop. Very high active tank he's got and does quite a bit of damage, so I want to tank against him because he does EM and kinetic damage, mainly EM damage though. So that's why I did like this. However, when I saw Ibeast's fit, he is using a web, and I realized that when I use a web on my fit, it becomes much better applying to the enemies in the T0 Dark Abyss, because the Dark Abyss, everything is moving so fast. You've got speed boost to all the types of NPCs, including myself. So it becomes much easier to do full application, because I realized that my missiles were not doing full application. So if I were to do, like you see, a volley is 68 HP, it would be like about 40, like about 75% of the damage you'll actually be applying when you factor in the armor resist. So the web was helping a lot. So this is his fit right here. He does use an overdrive injector system. I haven't really found that I would need to use that, so that's why I prefer to have more DPS. So I've added two ballistic control systems. I feel like that is doing me more use than the overdrive injector system. I can imagine it could be useful to be able to go very fast. This does make you go quite fast. But I prefer to have two ballistic control systems so that I have more DPS, so that I can kill the Skybreaker Disparu Troop easier, because that guy is deadly. He's got really good active tanks, so I try to crank out as much DPS as I can to be able to get through him as quickly as possible. So I've been running tons of sites in this fit right here, and it's earned its money back, so I consider it to work. However, I've not faced a Skybreaker Disparu Troop yet. In fact, I feel like I've faced every single NPC in the Abyss apart from the Skybreaker Disparu Troop. So we're going to continue testing here. I wanted to just show you guys how it works really well and explain to you guys how I use this fit so far. But I've been able to earn back this fit's value over its value back, and it's worked out really well. I've even bought and sold a few modules, so I actually earned more than 10 million. It's more like probably 15 million ISK in total from this ship after I bought it. So really great. So I start with the Tranquil Darks, and then I'm in Jita. I then go to the adjacent systems. So an adjacent system would be Multispectrum. There's a good one. I'll go there and run the sites there. You see we've got the rockets. The reason we go for the rockets is because the rockets, they have good DPS. And as I mentioned before, in the Skybreaker Disparate Troop Wave, high active tank, very big tank you have to get through. So that's why I prefer to have as much DPS as I possibly can get a hold of. They have very short range though, which is a bit annoying. But in the dark sites, the enemy's optimal range of turrets is reduced, so they tend to be a bit more close to you than they usually would to be able to get into their optimal range. So it's actually not that bad. I go with a lot of tank modules here, Field Extender 1, and an EM reinforcer to be able to reinforce the EM part here, which I was talking about, you know, so that we can face the Skybreaker Disparate Troop and tank him easier. So I'm going to go to the safe here. When it comes to my skills, what I was mentioning before, you can see, for example, in my description, I've got a 1 million skill link. So if you click on that link and make a new character, you get 1 million skill points when you start a new character. So that's what I did on this one here, and you can use anyone's link. So I got 1 million skill points, and I've used just under 400,000. So these are not the skills I've used. These are just ones that I'm thinking could be relevant to train in the future. But I'll show you guys the skills I've got. So if I go on my skills, let's see, I've got Missile Launch Operation 4, Projection, Rockets 4, Rapid Launch 3, Bombardment 3, and then one of those important is Caldari Frigate. I got it to level 4. That thing is very important. And then I've also got some skills when it comes to the engineering. So I've got Electronics Upgrades 3, Weapon Upgrades level 4, because this allows me to get me to fit this properly. But you can just train skills until you get the same amount of DPS as I've got here, 84. And the same tank with the Multispectrum Shield Hardener here, 5.2k HP. But I consider this to work. However, I've not faced a Skybreaker Disparate Troop Wave, so I need to find them. After that, I'll say, okay, then it definitely works in all rooms. But I feel comfortable using this if I were to start as a new character because I've earned my money back. And it's worked out really well. But there could be a risk that it doesn't fathom too well against the Skybreaker Disparate Troop because of how much active tank it has. So it could be that we may be not able to grind his shield down. So you see we've got the rogue drones here. I tried to focus on the rogue drones that have the EM damage. They spark needle, they do EM, so I'll go for them first. I always use explosive as the standard one, the Nova rockets, because against rogue drones it's actually best to use explosive, or it's good to use explosive. The reason for that is because rogue drones, you see these little frigates here, little scrubby frigates, they have the biggest HP pool in their armor actually. So they've got lowest resist in their armor. So I go for the explosive missiles because they'll get through their armor a lot quicker. Their shields do take a little bit more time to do, but it's okay. Their shields are so weak anyway by default, so it doesn't really take much time to go through it. So I just go there, orbit them a little bit, wreck them, and let's go to the next room. And I always try to start with a fully loaded rockets. When I go into the next room, just so that in case for some reason an emergency situation happens, I've got the best prerequisites so that I can just destroy them as much as possible. Not that, say I get a difficult wave and then I need to reload in the middle of everything. That could be a bit annoying. There is a way of pacify this Disparate Troop. That guy is the Concord frigate. He does quite a lot of damage. And I came to like 25-30% shields, but it was alright. I had to reload in the middle of everything and we still managed to take him out. But that is a wave which I would consider to be a little bit scary, so watch out for him. I think it could be because he does thermal damage. Thermal is our lowest resist. Lucid Escort, let's go. And I just go to them and I orbit them at 500 or 2000, something like that. And it usually works out really well. You see we go 1k a second over that. That's where IB's overdrive injector system would affect us lower. It would be a lot quicker then. You see there's a default automatic suppressor here. I want to get away from that. That's not something we want to mess with. That's just causing... We're not doing any damage here because all our missiles are going to get destroyed by that default automatic suppressor. So I'll just keep a little bit of further range. Go a little bit further away from that. I'm holding down Q and double clicking here to be able to move away. You see, I can't... My missiles are not shooting. They can't do it because they're getting shot down by the default automatic suppressor. Might just continue here. 800k. I usually get about 2 million ISK per site. Nothing crazy, but it's very good for new players in my opinion. So I want to get away from that thing. It's so annoying. Okay, let's get a bit closer now. Now that we're further away from that guy. If we orbit very close, it also, I find anecdotally that it increases the likelihood of us hitting. Because my theory is that the default automatic suppressor has a lesser amount of time to be able to have its flares take effect on our missile. But I've been just doing these over and over again last night. Couldn't find a single Skybreaker Dispowered troop. Maybe we will find one now. If you do find a Skybreaker Dispowered troop, always switch to either EM or thermal missiles, the Mjolnir or the Inferno missiles. They've already hunted. This guy is a bit dangerous. And you switch to EM here. He does a lot of damage. But you just go orbit like 2.5 on him. He can do a lot of damage. That's the main reason why he is deadly. So he does a lot of damage there. Luckily, thanks to the fact that we've got a lot of EM damage, EM resist, then we're able to resist him quite a bit. But it's good that we've got EM missiles here. But be careful for this guy. He does a lot of damage. And always use those EM missiles, the Mjolnirs. If you don't, you're going to be doing so much less damage. Need to orbit even closer, I think. Not really sure what is the best range to orbit these little mosquito frigates. Well, I noticed that when I'm coming in, he seems to be doing more damage. Penetrating shot. Yeah, he misses me completely. It's better to orbit 500 this guy. Or maybe not. Let's just buy it out of cash. Maybe 2.5k is a bit better. So you see, it's pretty easy. Some waves you can get a little bit low in the shields, and that's just something you have to be careful about. Make sure you kill them, and you could possibly die as well if you make too many mistakes. If you just go straight, like if I was to just go straight at this guy and not kill him, then I would have died eventually. I find it hard to make a fit that's completely invulnerable with those skill points, but I think that if you just learn the basics, then it should turn out really well. I'm going to continue doing more testing later. I just wanted to take through you guys with me on one of these sites I'm doing here in the T0 Kestrel. It seems to work out pretty well. This fit is so nice. It earns so much ISK in relation to how much it costs. Whole fit costs like 9 million ISK, and you're able to earn it back really quickly. So hope you, and best of all, it requires so little skill points, and you just get better and better, and everything gets so much easier and easier the more skill points you train. So you can see here, I've just 400,000 skill points I've assigned. That's all it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something new. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.